song stuck in my head.
Hey everybody, welcome to an exciting Glew University today. Talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're going to get started in probably a minute or so. There was quite a few people signed up for, so I am going to give them a little bit of time to filter in. Not everybody is as punctual as you guys listening right now, which is totally fine. If you want to just say, your name, where you're from, what store you're with, if you guys are offering early discounts to webinar hosts, you can send those to us too. I know that this is a very exciting time of year for all of us. So very excited to talk about this topic today. Do you have anything on your wish list for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Katie?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't really been online shopping too much other than like home stuff. So I could use some area rugs really. So that would be exciting. Might check that out.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in my Amazon cart, but would love to buy directly,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I just did my end of summer closet clean out, so I am due for
so now you can rebuy. That's the fun. Yeah. That's the most fun part.
Yeah. Well, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It looks like a decent amount of people are here. Seems like the audience may be a little shy today, which is totally fine. They just want to learn about ways to use Glew. So let's go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to go ahead and hide my face, sadly, and share my screen.
Let me join you. All right.
Boom, 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 and boom. All right. Awesome. So as I mentioned today, our focus is going to be on data-driven tips for a successful 2022 holiday season. For most of our e-commerce vendors, multi-channel as well. This is big for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so it's going to be a heavy focus on that. Cool. So we're going to quickly just go through our high-level overview, kind of the topics in which we'll be focusing on today. The first thing we're going to do is how to keep your channels and campaigns profitable. So we'll talk a little bit about ways to use Glew to take a peek at the performance of those different sales channels and campaigns. And using data from last year to make decisions for the future. We'll talk a little bit about timing, knowing when to launch, what times of day, what day of the week, and more. We'll talk about customer segmentation, which is really fun, especially with regards to email marketing, which is obviously very important during this time. We'll talk about products, how to identify the best products to lead with, what products bring in good customers versus not. Have a retention strategy as well. So we'll talk about, during Black Friday, you're going to acquire quite a few new customers, we hope. So how do we keep them, right? And then we'll talk a little bit about our favorite customer acquisition hacks, including customer tags and lookalike audiences and fun things like that. So with all that said, I'm going to do a little bit of pull up a slide and then pull up Glew. So I'm going to go a little bit slower when I jump into the Glew platform, just so the screen has enough time to load. So the first thing we're going to talk about is kind of setting that benchmarking. Kind of the theme of this is going to be about advertising costs and kind of knowing specific benchmarks. So as we all know, the more competition, the more cost. So during this time, just keep in mind that paid advertising is going to increase quite a bit. So with that in mind, we kind of want to take a peek at some specific things with regards to our website. So we want to look at our KPIs from a key date ranges during the last holiday season to understand what you can expect this year. So the first thing we want to know is we want to set a goal for our team. It's a pretty simple thing. So let's take a peek at last year's revenue. We want to understand, hey, last year maybe we sold X amount. We had this many new customers, this many repeat buyers, this many discount codes used, whatever those key benchmarks are, we want to set that stage early and we have our targets. Pretty self-explanatory there, but within Glew, it's really easy to do. Same thing with conversion rate, right? We want to keep in mind, how did we, what are our expectations around a conversion rate? We may have a lot more web traffic, so we want to see those sales rise as well. We'll talk about AOV as well. Typically in Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we see a lot of discounting, which may lead to a quick sale. So how do we leverage discounts to also increase AOV, right? Which typically is a sacrifice we're willing to make if it does increase the overall basket size. And then, you want to understand refunds as well. Take a peek at last year's overall refunds. Did we sell a lot of revenue, but also have a ton of refunds? Maybe there's an opportunity there to say, hey, with this Black Friday, Cyber Monday comes, maybe there is no free returns, or they have to pay for shipping or something like that, right? So there may be an opportunity to, say, hey, to the customer, we'll sacrifice some pricing, but we expect you not to return things. So just take a peek at that as well. If it's all okay, then to your customer service also goes a long way. So that's really up for you to decide. So I'll just quickly pop into Glew and quickly highlight, where we do that. So for these top line KPIs, I typically recommend just using the highlights page in Glew. And what you can do here is you can come in and just pick your date range, right? So let's just say, for an example, we're going to look at last year, and then we're going to take a quick peek at, let's just do a larger view. Let's see here, like maybe just last Thursday leading up to December. You may have a different rate range that you want to use. And then you can also select previous year. So this is going to say, hey, here's how we performed this year. Here's the percentage of increase versus last year. So in this dummy data, they increased 14%. So we say, hey, this year we want to see that go up to 20, 25%, whatever it may be. But setting those goals is going to be really important. You can also see your gross profit as well, taking into consideration cost of goods, order count, products sold, AOV we mentioned here as well. So seeing how that's performed, if that basket is growing larger or smaller, and then refunds as well, right? So keeping a key eye on that. For this store, they only had 322, which is pretty darn good. So again, keeping track of that as well. Conversion rate and visits are going to be down here. So again, creating a benchmark for that will be really easy. Again, if you do want to just see last year, you just click previous year. So you're going to see these in any of these graphs here. Cool. Awesome. So next, we're going to talk a little bit more about that advertising aspect of it. So we're going to say here, don't reinvent the wheel, right? See what marketing channels worked last year and adapt as needed. So there's kind of 4 different ways to look at this. The first thing we're going to look at is lifetime value. So within the Black Friday, Cyber Monday acquisition, right, we're getting a lot of new customers. And then we have a lot of customers who are waiting around for a repeat buy at a discounted price. So what we're going to kind of focus on is that acquisition aspect. So that new customer contact and conversion. So one thing we want to understand about that is the lifetime value of those customers that we're acquiring during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then what channels they've come from. I'll talk about that in just a second. I'll show you in Glew where to find that in just a second. We'll talk about pure acquisition plays, so just acquiring customers on account level, see repeat purchasers, and then profitability. And this will just show you how to see your highest performing channel campaigns and what they look like. So again, going to pop into Glew and show you where we're going to find that. So we're going to go into performance overview. And this is where we're going to see that revenue by specific channels. So if I go back here, this is going to be purely based on acquisition, right? So you can see here and see your orders. So what you come in here, we set that date range and you just say, okay, look, so here are orders. Again, this is dummy data. Your data is probably going to look a little bit different than this. You may have different channels, right? You may see your paid channels. You may have them tagged differently. You may be using newer softwares for different things this year. So, right, again, we're looking at last year. But you want to take a peek at just that overall order count. So one that's to say, hey, for that pure acquisition, that pure conversion, that's what we're looking at for orders. So, you say in here, hey, great, Google performed the best. So this year, we know Google performed really well last year. We go to our marketing team, we go to our agencies, we say, hey, we want to, deeply analyze Google ads. And then let's also go in here and take a peek at our specific campaigns, right? So typically you're going to tag your campaign on Google ads with the product. you can see how those, product tags within a UTM tag, also perform as well. Knowing what those products were, do we have similar lines this year, and how can we leverage those? The next one we'll take a peek at is lifetime value. So we're gonna go to actually a separate section here. We're gonna look at this on the customer level, right? Acquiring a customer, the right kind of customer. So you're gonna come in here to the LTV profitability by channel. We're gonna keep it in the first order attribution because we wanna understand within this time frame what was the LTV of that channel. So I can come in here and I can sort by lifetime value, right? Keep in mind, take a look at all of your channels and their LTV, because there may be a channel that you used during Black Friday, Cyber Monday that you used, right? And maybe it didn't convert. Maybe the conversion was not super high, but there was customers who came through. And then you take a peek at that lifetime value, because as a reminder, if anybody wonders what first order, how that attribution works, we attribute all future sales back to that original channel. So just a quick reminder, let's say you used Facebook, that converted me on my first buy, and then I bought the next buy through email and then direct. Those 2 future sales go back to Facebook. So that's going to be pushed into this LTV, that up there. So this is going to be a really good way of understanding, hey, maybe there was channels that didn't convert as well, but when I take a peek at their LTV, they may be higher up there, right? So what that's going to tell me is there may be an opportunity to start bringing those channels back in, because we don't want to spend as much money, but we don't want to eliminate it altogether. And we want to bring it back this year because for whatever reason, those customers we did acquire through those channels had multi-buys, right? So we acquired a strong customer during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but over time they became, a VIP or a silver level customer. So LTV is a really fantastic measure to look at from an acquisition view, especially within that first order attribution lens. We'll also take a peek at repeat purchasers. You'll do that right here as well. So you're just going to sort by repeat, and that'll give you a good understanding for, maybe there's an opportunity here to segment out those customers from a group and do like a very specific targeted approach, seeing how those repeat customers performed. And how you would do that is, one, we're going to say, okay, great, here's my highest repeat channel. It was Instagram. And then I can come into my customer list if I want to push over a specific view to like Klaviyo or something like that. I can pop in here and say like, okay, cool. What were my Instagram campaigns I was running? Maybe I decide I want to pull a very specific one. You can do first order channel is Instagram and segment out those customers and then send that to your email marketing team, or within Glew, you can also just do a direct sync over to Klaviyo of those customers. So again, kind of a 2-step process here, identifying a high repeat customer group, knowing that repeat customers are typically very responsive to email. Maybe you acquired them, like we said, through, I think it was Instagram. So one, acquisition through Instagram, following up via email. Just another way to use different parts of the system. And then for profitability as well, I mean, this one is going to be very emphasized on overall, just like taking into account your different cost of goods and then ad spend. But you can see that here as well as your overall net profit. So seeing, okay, great. After all the money we've spent, the orders, et cetera, the new versus repeat, the LTV, pure profit, right? We also want to make money during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I know a lot of people are willing to sacrifice their profit margins just to get people in the door and then, let the product sell itself in the future, but also something to keep an eye on. Cool. I think, Katie, you are up next.
Yeah, nice. And I actually have a true story to tell about this quote. So this tells us that email is still the highest converting channel currently. And I guess I'm on the data analytics / e-commerce side of TikTok now, because today, or it could have been because I was looking at these slides today, but I saw something that said the average person gets about 121 emails for Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. So just making sure those emails that you're sending really stand out to your clients and customers is going to be really important during this time of the year. So that's a true story.
Yeah, absolutely. And making sure like those customers get an email that is pertinent to them.
Yeah, for sure. And you obviously want to have, the right titles and things like that so that people are really diving into those emails that you're sending. But kind of getting into the email marketing and customer segmentation side of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you obviously are going to want to promote exclusive offers to people that are your VIP people, right? So we aren't going to want to go into a segment seeing 12 months since last purchase. Those are clearly customers who purchased, maybe as a, Christmas present for their grandson or something like that. We can actually do that, Christian. If you want to jump into Glew itself, we can run through some of those segments that are going to be good to push over to Klaviyo.
Yeah, sure. Just guide me where you want me.
We'll pull out some of, yeah, of course. So we can look at 12 months since last purchase first. So these are going to parse out your customers that maybe you can target for different reasons. So these are obviously going to be like customers that purchased because you offered them a discount code during Black Friday. Maybe they, again, bought for someone in their family for Christmas or something like that. You can always reach out to these customers, but they aren't necessarily customers that I would really like push my marketing to, just because it has been so long since they have purchased from you. Christian's kind of building that out for us. So you can just do like last order date is before 365 days ago. And then you'll have, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday date chosen in your date picker. So obviously this is dummy data, so it doesn't always make a ton of sense. But what we can do, again, is parse out those customers that, are commonly purchasing from our Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. Another one is going to be customers. This is going to be more of like a custom segment that we build out, but I wanted to show, everyone that's here today, Christian, people that are first purchasing in the sale range. Sorry, yeah. I'm going kind of fast, I think. I'll try to keep up with you. But people.
So you said first purchased. Let's make it so first purchase during the time frame.
Yep.
So
exactly.
For this one, we'll be looking at, and we just want to look at Cyber Monday. So let's just say December 31st to the last Thursday. Okay, apply.
Nice. And then we're going to kind of build out like a VIP purchaser. So we can do like, add a filter of orders greater than or equal to like 3. And then lifetime revenue. This one for you guys, lifetime revenue, what you're going to choose is something that's higher than your average LTV of your store currently. So right now, I think I saw it earlier, but we have 179 in our demo store. So we might want to make it like $300. So lifetime revenue is greater than or equal to $300 or $500, kind of depending how much you want to like tier these customers out. But this is going to help us find that like VIP customer that had first purchased in your last sale time. So these are going to be really, really good segments to, again, push over to your Klaviyo account so you can parse out some of these customers. Good job with me.
Yeah. And just so everybody followed along there, what I did here was I went into first purchase customers during a specific date range, right? Which we're saying these are customers who first purchased during whatever we're defining as our Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday season. And then I'm adding on to that, what Katie mentioned is basically saying, I want to see of those people who first bought, who have now become really valuable customers, right? And we want to reward them for that. So this is kind of like taking high LTV and taking it even higher. What I did, go ahead, Katie.
I was just going to say, these are the kind of customers that maybe we want to start granting like that early access to our promo, or, a free gift when they purchase something, or even a promotional aspect to that additional, like to top off that Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale as well.
Yep, that is perfect. So I just named this. If you guys, want to create this in your own store, feel free. First purchase customer in parentheses during Black Friday, Cyber Monday plus VIP gold. As Katie mentioned, you could do change this up and down if you want to do bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then increase the level of gift or early access. And so I just said segment description and click create. Click save here. And then what we're looking at now is these segment KPIs. So this will be a lot more fun in your store. You'll actually have data versus this dummy data.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to mess around with these. Like if you wanted to say you put in, lifetime orders are greater than equal to 3 and you only get like 25 people. Obviously, you don't want to build a whole campaign around 25 people because that would be a good bit of work. You could keep messing with those numbers until you get a feasible group of customers that you guys feel like it's worth pushing out to, because obviously your time is money, so you definitely want to get that return on investment for building out those customized segments and things like that.
So unfortunately, no data, but you can see what we do give you is customers, that LTV of that group, orders, revenue, AOV, margin, profit, insights here, the actual customer emails associated, and then the products that they purchased as well. So this is, we'll talk a little bit more about products purchased. We have a lot out of the box, but this is kind of like a more special way to look at it. This is a more segmented view of the products that they bought.
Yeah, definitely like a more fine-tuned version of what you can find within Glew.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're good on this slide if you want to jump to the next one, Christian.
Yeah.
And again, if you guys need any help building out, any of these segments, just feel free to reach out to your account manager. We're here to help you guys and make sure if you want to talk through your data as well. During this time, we stay on calls with clients, so it's a fun time for us. So this one's mostly just talking about how Cyber Monday sales topped Black Friday Cyber Monday. So just making sure you want to get ahead of your optimization. Just make sure you're really, reaching out to customers in a timely manner. I'm sure I know that some of my clients that I talk to on a daily basis are already shooting out Black Friday Cyber Monday emails. So if that's you, great. But if not, definitely get on track and make sure that you guys have, your planning lined up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday that's coming up.
I think one thing they added here was showing the timing conversion based on channel too. If you're going to go into that.
Yeah. So if you go into your highlights tab, your revenue filter, you can actually compare, how much you've made time of day and day of the week. So what you can do is come into this highlights by revenue and change it grouped by time of day. So you can have, that November to December period in and see when customers were really coming, when the traction was really gained. Even the time of day, the day of the week, you can get really nitty gritty with this to see when we should be sending out our email marketing campaigns and reaching out to those customers, because that's clearly when they were active last year. So just kind of keeping on that data, really, digging in to be really strategic, I guess is what I'm trying to say, for when you're sending out any of these campaigns.
Yeah. And as far as like the function of the tool, what we do is we come in, you click the 3 little dots here, add filter. And all I'm doing is saying, hey, I know that I want to understand conversion via email. And when did that actually perform? So I just say first order channel is email. This is restricting orders that were just converted through email and then allowing me to see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sales by day. And then this shows me sales combining all days of the week by time. So Tuesday at 3:00, maybe your most optimal time to send emails. So based on last year's data.
Yeah. Always have that previous year box checked in that metric when you're going through any of these reports for Black Friday, Cyber Monday as well. So you can really get the full view of the data and how we're kind of blocking that off year by year. Nice. Yeah, that one's pretty simple, but definitely very fruitful. Awesome. So optimizing traffic. So this tells us more people are shopping online and open to new brands than ever before. So I was actually thinking about examples of this. When I was growing up, you had, Nike, Adidas, Reeboks, and that was pretty much it for a New Balance, maybe for tennis shoes. So now we see, there's more people wearing different brands. No one's really dedicated to a brand anymore. We're kind of looking to see the trends fluctuate, the prices fluctuate, and kind of just shopping for our own styles. So definitely, reach out to obviously people that are loyal to your brand, but getting new people on board is better than ever, quote unquote, this year. So identifying your highest performing channels. So customer acquisition. Christian went through this a little bit earlier, but just digging into our different channels, seeing where customers are coming in from on both the first order and the last click channels, and then being able to see those different like lifetime calculations. So this is going to be in customers' lifetime value, and then scroll all the way down to that LTV profitability by channel metric. So where's our return on ad spend coming from last year? Maybe that's where we should be pushing most of our campaigns from this year. It seems silly to say out loud, but it really is just coming in and focusing on the little details. Is it lifetime ROAS? Is it, your cost, customer acquisition cost, your new customer acquisition cost, just seeing which one of those channels really take the cake for those top metrics.
I think it's also like a good way to give yourself a grade. Even after, if you want to do it sooner, you can say, okay, great. Well, email had a great ROAS, so let's go spend all our money in email. I mean, the idea is you want to take from what worked, and then also don't be afraid to look down at what didn't perform well, and do some, critical analysis of yourself and say, okay, well, our, CPC Google did not perform well from a return on ad spend standpoint. So what do we need to change differently this year to optimize that?
Did we just throw that ad together last minute? Was it didn't have a graphic, things like that. Just really digging into all of your past year's data to make sure those ads are in the channels associated with those ads are like as strong as possible as they can be during this time of year.
Yeah. And I think one thing is you can take kind of an approach to it as well. If you look at like your CPC Google, right? Maybe the return on ad spend wasn't super high, but you can also see your highest performing campaign. So one thing you can do in Glew is you can actually come in again and try to understand what customers what do they buy in that highest performing campaign. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out and just show you quickly how you would do that. So let's say I go to all customers and I know, hey, my CPC Google campaign where I'm selling my orange sweatshirt was our highest performing. Who the heck knows why, but it was. So I can come in here and I can say last click channel is, and it'll populate on your account, but I can just pop in, like orange sweatshirt, whatever it's named, whatever the UTM tag is going to come through as. I can say create new segment, and then I can go to segment details, and I can actually see the products that they purchased alongside that. So kind of the insight here that this is going to give you is if the campaign focus was on the orange sweatshirt, did everybody come in here and buy that? Or was the orange sweatshirt a very flashy advertisement that was like unique, caught people's eye, but they actually ended up buying, more of a basic product, right? Our white or black or gray sweatshirt. And so maybe this year we use that same kind of creative idea with the orange sweatshirt, but in that advertisement or whatever, like you click it, it takes you to the more basic product, right? So there's ways that you can use this data to kind of speed up the thought process of the consumer versus saying, what the last thing we want them to do is click the orange one. They see the orange one, they decide they don't want to, they decide not to look, and they just click. You waste spending money on a click. Versus if they click, they get right to a quick conversion. So it's just that speed of converting, which is probably a good segue into this one, Katie.
Oh yeah, identifying your best products for customer acquisition. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this one we're actually going to be in our product list. I would actually suggest, Christian, would you agree that going into like product segments would be how to do this, or would you I might need your advice on this one, honestly.
Yeah, I would say hot products is always, especially when we're looking at last year, take a peek at hot products. Just because what that shows you is it's a period over period comparison. So it's saying, versus the whatever time frame we're looking backwards, these are the products that actually really stood out, right? So these are products that did have they were hot during that time.
Right. Yeah, and filtering any of like your total products by LTV too. So you can, within Glew, you can have this option to pin and hide different columns and rows. So what Christian just did was pin that customer LTV. So out of our hot products, the Costa Rica sandal is going to be the top customer LTV product with a very high number of orders as well. Maybe not the highest number of orders, but a decently high number of orders. So you can kind of come in and see, okay, this is what, products were really performing super well during that time period, like the best of the best, really. So that's kind of what you can base, any ads around to as well. So if this winter white wedge performed well last year, then maybe we have a similar product this year that's like another white wedge, which we can use in any of our email marketing and ads.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would add to that is just the idea that, we want to use the data we have to find customers that will buy more than one time. So yeah, of course, it's good to understand, during this time period, what products converted really well, but this is going to show you that qualitative aspect of the product and what type of customer do we acquire with that. So it's good to use both, right? Understand, hey, this converts really well. This will get people in the door. We're doing new things now with our email marketing and retention ideas that we'll talk about in a little bit. But at the same time, let's also spend a little bit more money, whether it's using these products and those advertisements to acquire or attract a customer who spent more money over the long term. So that LTV is a very powerful.
Snag the people that will stick around too, for sure. Yeah, and I think the last piece of that slide was just allocating your ad spend. So we hit on that a little bit in that LTV profitability by channel metric, but again, just kind of, basing your ROAS versus your revenue and things like that, and making sure that you're kind of weighing your options when you're deciding where you're sending those ads out to.
Cool.
Nice.
So for this one, we're saying shoppers who buy for the first time from a retailer make their first visit on average 41 days prior. So what that really means is that you're going to acquire a lot of new customers who know of you, but are waiting around for an incentive to buy, right? So it's kind of that mentality of capture and then cultivate. So what you want to also understand is more data around your products and what people are buying. So the first thing we want to look at is what people tend to buy from you during the holidays. So you want to take a look at product bundles and then product tags. So what I'll do is I'll pop into Glew for this one. So under product tags, you're able to tag products as well. So you can actually tag a product as, this was a part of our collection for the holiday, like our holiday season. Maybe it's a product that we advertised heavily as well, right? And seeing that group together and how those performed, our margin, orders sold, available, all those kind of inventory type metrics are available as well. That's a very important thing to understand. What sort of products convert the best during this time of year? The other thing we really want to understand is the bundling, right? If we go into product segments, we're going to see a segment called top products bundled. Okay. So what this is going to show us is our number one performing product that is being bought with something else. So the first insight we're taking away here is the Meredith heel size 8.5, right? Sizing is probably not so important, but the heel, the type of product that is being bought with something else is a heel. Okay. So what does that tell me? Everything I'm doing should be, whether it's a creative art advertisement, they should be wearing heels, right? Everything that we're promoting should be a heel. If it's a great art model picture where it catches everybody's eye, people are clicking that ad like crazy. Well, we want to make sure it has a heel and it has whatever they're going to pair with it. So what are they going to pair with it? What should we dress this person in heels with? So what we're going to do is we're going to look for that next product that makes the most sense. Okay. Again, this is dummy data, so keep that in mind. But people bought most often during Cyber Monday, Black Friday, they bought the heel with the Sally red hat. Okay. So me knowing that and me knowing that I want to increase AOV because that's more orders or more value for each order. I want to create advertisements that are grouping those together. You can also maybe create an incentive in which if people buy those together, there's a discount, right? We're not just throwing you 15%, we'll throw you 10 and give you 5 if you buy these together, right? People are like, oh, I got 10 plus 5, boom, conversion, that mentality for a customer. So this is another really powerful way to use the data within Glew, especially from last year, or even you don't even have to use if your product data is fluid, changes very often, take a peek at the last 6 months. You can always move the date range to whatever date frame is appropriate for you. Cool. So identify your best products for acquisition, retention, upselling, and bundling. We kind of covered that. For acquisition, that's going to be looking at product list through the lens of orders. For retention, that's going to be through the lens of customer LTV, right? Products that draw in customers who spend and spend and spend. Upselling, this is kind of a secondary one, but what you can do is you can come into your customer segment and Glew. If you ever wonder why we jump from products to customers, it's typically when we are wanting a customer characteristic that's going to show us product sales, if that makes sense. So for this one, what you can do is you can pick repeat customers. If I could spell repeat, not repeg, repeat. Repeat customers here, and you can click segment details. And then this will show you, okay, of the customers who repeat bought, and maybe instead of looking at Black Friday this year, you just take a peek at like your last 365. So overall last year, again, whatever date frame is giving you product insights that you find relevant for your current time period, use that. But you're going to see this product purchase as well. So that's going to highlight the top performing products of the people who have been a repeat purchaser, right? So again, it's just using the data we have to provide us with insights that will help us make better decisions. You can also find your top selling product by channel, right? That's probably something we want to understand. If I look at my data last year, and again, we're kind of thinking product type. I know products change often, but so, for you guys, if you don't sell a wide variety of products, you're probably going to focus more on that campaign level data and what creative advertisements perform well, and then kind of reinvent those. If you sell a lot of different types of products, you're going to want to take a peek at this even more so. But you can see like top from page search, right? Again, this is dummy data, but it looks like for the most part, paid, organic, and email, are these pumps? Pump, heel, and pump. So shoes like this performed really well. And then you have top from social. It looks like a leopard clutch. It looks like a bag purse thing.
That's
a purse that performed really well. And then another clutch. Okay. Oh wait, that's not one. Sorry. Top from refer. Jumped down too far. It was the heel, right? So in our social ads, we'll probably put somebody who is holding a clutch. And then in our refer, email, organic, and paid, we're probably going to do, again, like a heel, somebody wearing a heel with a dress, right? And the Sally red hat. Let's throw that on there as well, because we know that performed really well last year. So again, kind of understanding what people typically buy from what channel may optimize and decrease the amount of decision making for a customer. You send me a great ad for a product that I'm looking for, I'm probably going to convert. Cool. And then we'll also have inventory metrics as well. So this is going to be, we already talked about high LTV, so I'm just going to go right into inventory. So this is going to be really interesting as well. We can look at this a few different ways. You can look at it the variant and configurable. Again, variant is going to be like your size 9 shoe, whereas your configurable is going to be the bundled up version. So what we're looking at here is going to be, within last year, what trends did we notice within our different types of products? We'll see the quantity available, and then we'll see the quantity sold, the sell-through rate, velocity, and depletion days and out of stock date. So the last thing that you want to do is have a product take off and then you don't have any inventory of it. right? So keep in mind these metrics here: depletion days and out of stock date, right? Now, let's say it takes you 45 days to restock a product. Well, then I want to make sure that my depletion day report, I have a filter here, 30 days or less inventory on hand, right? Projected out of stock. So you can see here, like anytime something populates into that, it's going to notify me. Or you're going to log into Glew and you're going to see that list. This is one that you may want to set up as a report. You can click add to report, and you can say email me, schedule recurring, and just say daily, right? I need to get this every single day to ensure that, you know, I'm never getting too low on my depletion day so that I can restock in time. And just keeping a general idea of how products are moving and the quantity available is going to allow you to be very on top of that. Cool. All right, so this one is still me. Okay, so discounts and promos. Understanding that we are going to be in a heavy discount world for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You know, there's a few different ways to leverage your discounts, but you don't have to devalue your brand using discounts during this time, right? You know, you sell a great product, you know, people buy it full price. That's not to say that we don't want to acquire a ton of new customers this way, but let's make sure we're discounting things that make sense for us. First thing is product margins. If we have a massive margin on a product, we're obviously going to be more willing to discount it. So that's something we should be advertising as well. All year we've been selling this product for a couple $100. Well, we know that we have a built-in profit of like $180 on it or something like that. Maybe it's a high demand product that's very difficult to keep in stock or something like that. But we prepared for that. We overbought with the expectation that we're going to discount because we know we have a high profit margin. We're going to sell out of it and we're going to make a nice profit, as well as probably acquire a lot of new customers, right? So keep in mind those profit product margins, which you'll see in Glew as well under product list. You'll see your margin listed here. Slow and cold products. So we talked about hot products, which are fun, but on the other end of the spectrum, last thing we want to do is a bunch of inventory stuck in our warehouse that's costing us money. So take a peek at your cold products as well. What isn't selling right now? What you may want to do for this is keep in mind this date. The cold products is comparing the last period. So whatever current period, the last one compared to that. So keep that in mind as you're picking this. You know, maybe you want to do pick a date frame like maybe 6 months or something like that. That's pretty relevant to what products you've been selling. If your products haven't changed that much, if your products have just recently changed, you can also just go into all products and then just sort by sales and revenue and basically decide, hey, any product that, you know, had a revenue less than, you know, I don't know, $1,000, or maybe you probably want it to be a bit higher than that. You click save, create that segment. This will only have products that you're not making any money off of. Maybe do the last 365. And then you can also, maybe you do profit, and then you can also add in a filter of quantity available, right? So you're saying, I want products that I haven't been selling and that I have more than, you know, 50 on hand, right? So now you're creating this group of products you really need to get rid of. I'll leave this up just so everybody can see it, but you can just click save a segment and name it and say need to sell. So, and then the other thing is these, you know, we kind of go back to this LTV on the product view, but again, you know, if you notice that a product has a high LTV, which means, again, customers buy it, spend a lot of money. Hey, maybe we discount this product to get more of those type of customers through the door, because we know based on our data that it does, you know, find us the customer we're looking for.
Pays off in the end.
Yeah. And then one of the really easy to use aspects of Glew is going to be our discount page. So you're going to actually go into orders and discounts. So if you haven't looked at this, I highly encourage you to get in here and take a peek at discounts. I know e-commerce carts discount pages are not the most user-friendly. They usually just allow you to put them in there. You don't get a ton of insights on them. This is going to give you a lot of insights. So you can see, attachment rate. So this is going to be, what percentage of your orders are always having a discount. This maybe isn't something that we want to be super high, but we know during this time of year it may be. So with that in mind, we want to understand that AOV. Okay, we have a high discount attachment rate. So we want AOV. We know that last year our AOV was 284. This year we need it to be around 350. We need to see that increase. So let's go back to our product bundles. Let's understand what products are being bought together. Are there ways we can incentivize bundles, preset bundles, different things like that to kind of boost that up? Your average discount value, understand what your average discount value needs to be. Is it too high? Is it too low? Go back to your profit margin, understand where your profitability is coming into. And then you can also see your active discounts. So pop into last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Maybe your 15% off performed the best, right? What was the profitability margin on that? How many items were sold under that discount? Refunds, how many people bought, and that's not what we want to see. So we don't want to see a ton of refunds on discounts. So again, very clean and easy to see, and gather quick information on that. Again, we're using that data from last year to help drive that decision.
Nice. That's one of my favorite sections of Glew. Okay, so this one's talking about making sure we're really optimizing the post-holiday retention. So obviously, it's really easy to think about, pulling in new customers. But what about after the holiday season is over? You obviously want to make sure we're going to have these customers that are going to stick with us and stay good customers, kind of like have that high customer LTV that we've been talking about the majority of the webinar today. So some ways to do that. Win with retention is what this slide is called. So nailing the initial purchase and post-purchase experience, making it really, really easy for these customers to get from your email to the product. If it's linked, just making sure it's really, really seamless from your ad to your website to even, your return policy, essentially. So just making sure everything is really, really simple for that customer to go through the process of purchasing for you so that they love your product, they love the experience, and they want to keep on purchasing from you. That seems pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but just making sure, your shipping is set, your delivery is set, and it, your inventory is on hand. So having some of these reports set up that we've talked about today, just to make sure this process is super seamless.
Yeah, I think as a consumer, that's such something that always attracts me to our customers that I buy from, or companies I buy from that don't work with Glew, is the communication around shipping. Yeah. Right. If I buy something, I'm probably gonna be pretty excited to get it. And the last thing I want to do is get that first shipping notification. It's like, hey, it'll be here Thursday. And then Thursday comes, and then I get an email that, hey, it's not coming till Tuesday and it's delayed or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, great. So every time I buy from this company, it's going to be a delay. So you just need to be I say that there's such a value in that communication. Hey, here's why we had a delay, yada, yada, yada. It won't happen again. Customers really just want to know why. I think everybody understands things happen. So it's just that communication.
Especially if you live in an apartment complex like me and they just pile up all the packages and you have to search through one by one. You're like, it said it was here. And you just get so upset. But maybe that's just me. Awesome. So also leveraging the purchase to delivery experience. So this one says that the highest amount of open rates are placed on the email that is sent after the delivery email. So take this chance to really, obviously the customer is waiting for that email to say your product's on the way. So people are excited to get their product or their package, especially if they got to deal with it too. So just making sure you have all of those email triggers kind of set up so you can really take this time to get people to cross-sell or take the chance to tell, your story about your product, things like that. Just using that time to really, enhance the customer experience even more by telling them a little bit about your company as well.
Yeah, this was actually really cool because in Glew, you can come in and you can actually, this is going to be a little bit, I know a lot of email systems may automate a lot of this stuff, but some of the actual data around what happens after that, they may just give you a quick, hey, here's how many people bought from this campaign. It's okay, that's great. But you can also do last order date. as well. And you could do like a really quick time here, you could say like in the last 30 days, right? Or whatever your Black Friday time period is. So, they're probably now they've gotten their shipping notification. They got their, hey, it's on its way email. Now you're sending them like a quality contact. So you could say like last 45 days, you create the segment, say like recent buys plus special promo, right? Maybe this is where, as Katie mentioned, the open rate is really high here. So you create this list. This is a targeted list using Glew. Again, you can, then we'll click into segment details, which is where we'll track how this performs. But let me just quickly show you guys how to do this. So we know, hey, we named this recent buys, special promo, right? This gives us our customer list. You would have in your account, you're going to have, if you use MailChimp or Klaviyo, a sync setting button over here. You can sync that right over to Klaviyo, run that, and then you click into segment details. And then over time, you can watch how this performs and see that LTV and then the orders from that customer group, did actually sending a special promo 45 days post-purchase lead to a secondary purchase, which then maybe creates a behavior for multi-buys in the future because you created like a fun buying experience for a customer. And now they become very loyal to you because they feel appreciated. All right. This one is me. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else to add there, Katie? Am I good to jump on?
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay, cool. Sweet. So takeaways, win with retention. Again, most merchants focus on acquisition of the holiday. So trying to drive the maximum number of new customers and profit between October and December. But what happens after those new customers buy? So to derive the most value, identify the best products, work and build a relationship with them outside the holiday season, turning one purchase shoppers into repeat customers. So again, a lot of this goes back into just some of the quality touch points that you have as a business, whether it is, a holiday email in which it's not so much, hey, buy this, buy that. It's a little bit more about your company, your people, if you have a kind of a lifestyle brand, I know like surfing, yoga, health, a lot of different things, you may send something else that's a little bit more unique in that way. Well, maybe it's like a music playlist. There's just a lot of things that you can do that are kind of like extra that I know as consumers who read their emails like me, I do appreciate. And again, it's just very powerful to, come into Glew and put in those, first time buyers during, this date frame here. I would actually recommend creating one using the specific dates versus just using the one in Glew. That just allows for greater analysis. So you could say, I could type, get a little excited here. You could say like first order date is after or on, and then first order date is before or on. And you could just pick, whatever you consider the beginning and end of your holiday season. Do this each year, create that group of customers who first initially bought with you. Maybe they get something a little bit more unique than your entire customer base, right? Cultivate those new customers and make them feel really powerful or really loved and powerful. So cool. So I'm going to do just some final tips here. These are some things I kind of mentioned throughout the call, but I'll just kind of say, hey, like if there was one thing, or I guess it's 5 things here that you could take away from this webinar, I think it'd be really powerful for your business, especially if you're a Glew user. The first thing is a combination between customer tags and customer list. We have a feature within Glew. You can pull in any sort of customer tag, and you can leverage that against any predefined filter that we have from Shopify, Magento. Customer tags are things, that are not specific to a data point. If you understand customer tags, hey, my 5 best friends, I can tag them as best friends. There's no data point that's going to group that. I'm creating that group of customers. So you can tag customers based on, the product they purchased, whether they were a VIP spender during Black Friday. Again, you can do it. They first bought a high LTV product, so I want to create a special group on that. This kind of opens the door to any sort of grouping of customers that you want. And then again, you can add in all the different groups that we have here. why I always tell people this is the segment details aspect of it. You get extra data around these customer cohorts. You get LTV, you get customers, you get orders, you get products purchased. So don't be afraid to jump in here and try to create different cohorts. You may find a group of customers that's going to make you a lot of money that just need a little bit more love. New customers and high LTV channels. So again, come into your lifetime value, take a peek at that high lifetime value channel here, right? Customers that have channel acquisition, customers who spend a lot of money. You can come in here, you can say first order date. Again, I'm not going to do you can do the after is on, before on, and then you do the channel, right? First order channel is, let's say it was Instagram that year, right? So I'll just add just so everybody gets it. Typically, you would do the two first order dates next to each other, but I went a little too fast. You would say like before or on, right? Starting of my holiday, end of my holiday, and let's say this is my highest LTV channel. Create that segment again, and then use these for like Facebook lookalike audiences. Save it in Glew. And pop that over to Facebook lookalike audience, whatever your Google Ads audience, email, things like that, to find more customers like that. Same kind of thing for repeat customers, right? So you could come in here, you could say, I wanted to do, first order date, is after or on, before or after. And then I do, again, first order channel, is Instagram. And then I say lifetime orders is greater than or equal to 1, right? So of those customers who were high LTV, I also want to take out anybody who was a one-time buyer. So these are true VIP type, high LTV type customers. Another good one for Facebook lookalike audiences, any sort of lookalike audiences you may want to do. And then new customers, product purchase. So again, a lot of this is going to be that first order date. So just keep that in mind. I'll do one more just so, I make sure everybody understands. You typically bracket them with first order date and then is before or on, right? So you pick the start and end. And then you'd say, click save. And then once you go to your segment details, you can see the products that they bought. So again, hey, what did customers buy last Black Friday, Cyber Monday as a first time? What type? Same thing with the repeat. So again, you would come in here, you do that same filter I just did, first and last, first order date with the start and end. But then you just say orders, lifetime orders is greater than 1. So that would create a repeat, same kind of view. So, well, we're going to share these the slide deck with everybody who attended and who signed up. So hopefully, you guys can take some advantage of this. You also get a recording of this as well. So I'll go ahead and bring my face back up here. And let's see. I didn't see any questions pop in, so I'm hoping that was self-explanatory enough to where everybody's ready to action. I know that was about an hour long, so I know we try to keep it to 45 minutes, but it's a special occasion, so we can go a little bit over. I'm not seeing any questions. I hope that was helpful, at least insightful, maybe showed you some ways to use Glew. You didn't know that you could use it before. If you decide, an hour from now you do have a question, you can email support@glew.io. We'll either answer it or your account rep will. But since there's no questions, just want to say thank everybody for attending. Wish you the best of luck this holiday season. I hope you guys crush it, hit all your goals. And, we're a consumer too, so feel free to send us all those coupon codes as well.
Yeah, we love coupon codes for sure.
All righty. Well, awesome. I'll go ahead and end the broadcast. Thanks again to everybody for attending today.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
next time.